Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Pursuit of Purpose podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we have with us a special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself and just tell us a little bit about himself.
James Broussard, local sanitation. I can talk trash with anybody.
I love it. That's a great slogan. Have you ever used that before?
Oh, yeah. It's well, no. Let's talk trash is our slogan.
Okay.
I love that.
It goes over well with the baseball and the softball complexes. We sponsor a few teams around the area.
That would look great on the back of the jersey. Let's talk trash.
Talk
Local
trash.
sanitation.
I love it.
So local sanitation. So you're a garbage company?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So what all do you do in that aspect?
Well, we run curbside trucks. We pick up your waste from your home. We run roll-off trucks. We have the transfer station in Tyler County for community collection.
Transfer station. What's that?
It's it's not what people call a dump or a landfill. It's a place they take the trash. We put it in boxes and we take it to the landfill for them.
A centralized dump site with a big container
right.
where they put everything, and then y'all.
Because in Tyler County, there's not a landfill.
Okay.
So we have to get it to a landfill somehow, and we have county opened it up in 1994, I believe it was, and I bought it in end of 2018.
Okay.
So
And y'all like can divide it out by certain debris types and stuff, or
no, that would be
you just
recyclables.
Yeah,
and
we don't do that.
it's too costly.
so you just fill the roll-offs and then take them.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So how long have you been in?
January 1 of 2015. We got laid off. I got laid off from the oil field industry. I was working overseas a little bit with drill ships, and got laid off, and got home that Christmas in 14 and from a trip. I told my wife, got laid off. I said, we're going to start picking up trash. She said, I don't know about that. So, sure enough, we got to pick up trucks, send flyers out. Bless her heart, she climbed off in the truck, and we were loading trash in a pickup. And she worked until we had to start growing. Phone calls started ringing, so she started answering calls, and I was sure glad, because it sure hurt my heart for her to have to get out and get trash, and then at the landfill get out and pull trash out and throw it into the landfill out of a pickup truck and a trailer. But it was good when she got to get to the office. Life was good then.
Yeah. That's an amazing testament to a committed relationship.
Right.
To come home one day, say, darling, I ain't got a job no more. And we are about to start picking up other people's garbage.
Yeah.
And she looked at you and said, okay. And she went out there and started doing it herself, hands on. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I've got to keep her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, she
should
been
teach classes.
Blessing for sure. So,
when did y'all get together?
we were married 2003. We started dating in beginning of 2. Married in 2003. We combined our families. We had 5 girls, not counting her. She made number 6 with me and my son in the home with 1 bathroom. So
Whoa! No.
5 girls. We set the rules quick. You do your makeup, you do your hair, you do your whatever you want to do. You primp in your bedroom and leave the bathroom for everybody to use.
That's right.
No, it was good. We raised 6 kids in our home. Of course, we have 8 combined together. 2 of the older boys, were already kind of doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we have 15 grandbabies now.
Wow.
I don't remember all their names, but she can. No, we've got.
If you sat there and write, you could do it.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
It's a lot to just.
But sometimes you go through the list when you start calling them. You go through the list before you hit the right one.
Yes.
So anyway,
my grandfather used to do that to us. He had a big bunch of grandkids, and he'd call you. He'd be like, "Ricky, George, you know your name. You know, get over. You know that kind of thing." Yeah. So I can imagine it'd be something like that. Now I have to say that you, sir, have tied with the most children of anybody ever on this show.
Oh, really?
You know who you tied with?
Who's that? You?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're the first guest who's ever come up with the same number of kids in the house.
Okay.
So I'm impressed.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how it feels. You know what goes on. You know the good days and the bad.
And similar in ratio.
Yeah.
We had a very similar ratio, except we were very fortunate that we always had a minimum of 2 bathrooms in the house, but we never had hot water. Because no matter how many bathrooms you got, never any hot water.
Not enough. Not enough tank.
If I wanted hot water, I'd have to wait till about 2:00 in the morning to go take a shower. And just get used to, just lukewarm water coming out of the faucet.
Right.
Well, we live in the home that I grew up on, the property I grew up in. I bought it from my parents, or Nell and I did, my wife. We bought it from my parents.
He remembers her name.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. I got it down. That's right. I remember her birthday and anniversary too.
Whoa, that's impressive.
The iPhone is a great.
Yes. Reminder today. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you bought your folks' house?
Yeah, we still live there. It's just a old double wide trailer house, and it's really old. But we have plans to build one day. We hopefully will get to. But anyway, we raised them there, and they got to grow up on the land that I run around hunting and fishing on, and learn to operate equipment. My dad was a mechanic since before I was born, and he had me in the mechanical field. I was 7, 8 years old. Mom's got pictures to prove it because I can't remember some of it. But anyway, I'm teaching my grandkids things, and they're getting to run the little property that I lived on. It's just a good place to be.
Good.
Home is home, right?
Yes, it is.
That's a great legacy.
It's a good place to be.
So speaking of legacy, going back to your childhood, what was childhood like in your childhood home? What was discipline like when you were a kid growing up?
Oh, Daddy was pretty tough. It was, you go to school, boy, you better watch your P's and Q's. You better mind your business. If you get in trouble, you get a whooping when you get home. Get a whooping at school, got a whooping at home. It didn't matter. And then I remember one time I got in trouble at school, got fussed at school, got home, and I got a whooping. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what for. And he went and told me, he said, and I can remember telling Daddy, that wasn't me. That was, I'm not going to say his name, but it was somebody else. And he said, we'll see. And he went to school next day and come back. And he said, son, I'm sorry. You shouldn't have got that whooping. But it was, you got in trouble, you're getting a whooping.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, of course, I love my daddy a lot. And I lost him in 2020, just before the pandemic hit. But he was 82. And but he was firm. He taught me a lot of things. He disciplined. He didn't spare the rod, but he didn't abuse us. It was a good life. I can remember, I don't know, I guess I was elementary. I don't remember what grade, but the little old black and white TV that you had, my brothers had to hold the antenna a lot, the ear way. They looked like this. Somebody had to hold it to keep it coming in, 6, 4, 9. Anyway, I can remember lightning storm and woke up the next day and we didn't have a TV yet. It killed it. And I was in freshman in high school, I think, or 8th grade before we got another one. It was,
wow.
He just said, we don't need that. And, life was good. I mean, we were outside, we were hunting and fishing and shooting each other with BB guns.
Heck yeah, man.
Don't advise that to nobody, but I didn't let my kids do that. But it was good. It was real good. And I raised my kids similar. I thought I'd found the Lord whenever I was 19, right after I got married, but I didn't surrender to God until I was in my 30s, and realized that surrendering meant dedication, and realizing that He loved me, I love Him back. So anyway, I raising my kids, I started seeing the things that I didn't approve of coming through the television at me. And so I cut it out. I just took the antennas down. Now we still had it. We had a VCR, And in case people don't know what a VCR is, a big cassette-looking tape. But we had a VCR, and we selected what our kids watch. We watch a show every night with the family, but we very selective on what we watched. That way, I wasn't sitting on the couch and hear somebody dropping a bunch of bombs and my kids sitting there, oh, Daddy, what's that mean? Right. It was, they were going to see it soon enough. Sure. I didn't want to experience that with my kids. So anyway, all that being said, one of my daughters got graduated and she moved out and moved into her little first apartment and got her cable TV. She called me up one day and she said, Daddy, you could not believe the filth that's on. Oh, yeah. I said, yeah, that's why we didn't have it. Right. And it hit me, you did one thing right. You did something right. You may not have done anything else right, but you did something right.
I'm sure there was a lot.
My babies.
But that was a good one. That was a real good one.
How many siblings did you have when,
two. I have two brothers, and they were twin brothers. They were 3 years younger than me.
Okay. So you were the oldest.
Yeah. They
trailblazer.
They caught a bunch of stuff from me. But yeah.
So you had one on one side of the TV, one on the other side, holding
kids. And they fought good together.
Yeah.
They fought good together because I was instigating.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. No, my brothers are good boys. They're good guys.
Where are they at now?
One's in Houston or LaPorte, and the other one is in Pasadena. He works at NASA for Boeing. He's a IT guy or something. I really don't know exactly what he does, but
technical guy.
Sounds good when I say
right.
It. He works for NASA, Yeah. So anyway,
that's good.
They both do well.
That is fascinating.
That is.
So how old is your oldest child?
Our oldest is Michael, and he is. I didn't get to ask my wife before I. So he's in his upper 30s.
Oh, that's fine. Close enough is good enough.
My oldest biological is 35. Okay. And I hope that's right. My youngest biological is 28, 29, 30. Okay. Anyway.
Upper 20.
93 was our latest born. Okay. 93. So 1993.
All right.
So what are they doing? Like, if you want to hit the highlights, you don't have to say anything.
One's an investor now, investment. He's in investment firm. Got a nurse, teacher. Used to be a teacher, but now helps kids.
Like a paraprofessional or? Like a counselor?
Counselor.
Okay.
It was escaping me. Counselor. Our youngest is a doctor of chiropractic.
A bone cracker.
Yeah, she'll hurt you. She's not but 115 pounds. And she can
hurt you good.
Cry.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
yeah, good for her.
And then I got a daughter that works with us. She works for our company. And then I have one that's doing the most important thing that I think she can do is and I heard it yesterday in a movie, and it just kind of cringed me. I'm just a housewife.
Ain't no just to that.
No
That's
just
a big job,
baby. And we've got a daughter that does that. She takes care of her babies and her children. And
no, that's a beautiful profession.
It is.
So anyway, I'm proud of all of them, but
you got a lot to be proud of.
Indeed.
They're all doing exceptionally well.
So. Good for you and Nell. That's awesome. Yeah.
Your quiver is definitely full.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. So how did you decide at the moment you got laid off? How did you decide that this sanitation garbage business was going to be the business for you? How did that happen?
Well,
because I know your wife didn't throw that idea.
No, she didn't. That's for sure. And she's still thinking.
She's probably wondering this same question.
Yeah. I was. I guess it was a year after I graduated, and the county had decided they'd open a landfill in the county in Woodville and close all the little city sites down because we'd take our garbage out behind Coleman
right.
out on Chester Highway, and there was a little place out there. You walk out there and dump it, and there was a fella out there. He collected cans. They paid him to oversee the site. He pulled metal and stuff out, and then he'd set the rest of it on fire. When it got full, they'd come piled up. The old days. It's good old days.
Good old days.
But anyway, they decided to close all those sites down, and my daddy came to me and said, "Boy, you ought to get you a trailer and a truck, start picking up trash. They closing the sites down." I said, "I'm not picking up no trash." I said, "No way." Well, life rocked on, and I guess about
that seed.
yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
I guess about 2 years before we got in this business. No, I take that. The first time was 15 years before I got in this business. I went out to the fella that had started the business at the time, and he was an older fella. And I approached him. I said, "Would you be interested in selling?" He knew me, and I knew him. And I said, "Would you be interested in selling your business?" He said, "Well, James, I made a deal with James Sturrick 2 weeks ago. He's buying." I said, "Okay." Well, I just let it go. I knew James. He's a great guy. So I grew up with his brother, and anyway, we were running around together. So I just let it drop. He business for 15 years, I believe, and then the competitor came and bought him out like 2 months before I got laid off. 2 months before I got laid off, and it ended up being the only option for our entire county. The only option was that competitor.
Yes.
And so when I got laid off, it was like, okay, because I'd been thinking about it.
Yeah.
And Laura just said, "Okay, you better do it." I said, "Okay, yes, sir."
I'll be your garbage.
I got to do it with my hands.
Yes.
So anyway, we did it, and it wasn't within the first 3 months. I had to buy my first pickup garbage truck, which was a 1992 GMC garbage truck. You could hear it coming from miles.
I'll bet all the leaks.
But it was a blessing.
Squeak, rattle.
Yeah, it was a big deal to be able to just unload without having to pick the bags up out of that trailer. Because whenever we started getting more, I'd bring the trailer home and after a route and take the little excavator we had, pack it down in the trailer, go get the next day, pack it down in the trailer, and go get the third day and pack it down in the trailer. Then I go to landfill, and my little wife would get out there and help me. I tried to leave her or sneak off without her. She'd climb in, and then we'd unload that stuff. So, but anyway, it's, Dad's always said you're willing to do just about anything to put food on your table, to provide for your family. So, So I've always had the mindset of I'm not too proud to do it. I may be too proud to like it, but I'm not too proud to do it.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
You can always be too proud to like it.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't like doing that, but instead of not providing for my family, I will do anything.
Yeah.
Within reason.
That's well said. Yeah.
You're not illegal. But
No.
At least try not to.
But I don't mind getting a little dirty. And don't mind getting a little sweaty.
I mean, it takes every aspect of life to make our world go around.
Yes.
And the guys out there, I've got plumbers, friends. I've got sanitation friends. I got guys that get out there and do things that you think there's no way I want to do that job.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I can't say no more. There's no way I would do that job.
Right.
There's no way I want to do that job.
Right.
So you build a respect for people you see that's actually working hard and trying to make a living and trying to make the way in this society of ours.
Right.
So small business is great.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But then, you're learning like all three of us have. Everything falls to one person a lot, and we have to be careful to temper that because there's some things we should hand to other people. Yeah. Like I don't like now with you and your wife working in concert, you don't have to be there to answer every phone call. Right. Now she knows how to manage that and those sorts of things, and your daughter probably too. So no, that's good. That's good. But if we're not careful, we'll take it all on just like we always do.
It's easy too. Yeah. But one thing I've been blessed with is that, and I've had previous businesses that I've tried and failed, but I don't take it home. God has always given me the ability to shut it off.
That's good.
Even work, whenever I work for somebody else, I got to get that off. I managed a fabrication and construction company in Lufkin for almost 8 years. And I was able to shut it off. Whenever I leave work, I could leave it at work and don't miss sleep. Lord lets me sleep. Of course, I'm trying to do the best I can, and I joke and I always say, if it wasn't for, well, I probably ought not say that. I will, but it's just if it wasn't for the headaches of employees and customers, business ownership would be great. And I say that very lightly because we have a case in point. We got a great group, core of customers that are just awesome. They tip our guys, and our guys are out there digging through their trash cans when they're supposed to be bagged and they're not, and they're having to clean the cans out, and they don't always get everything. But we had a customer one time said, there's some trash stuck to the bottom of that can, and he did not get that out. And a partner I had at the time, which passed away, but we can talk about that later. But he took that phone call, and he said, well, ma'am, why don't you get it out? She said, it's nasty and stuck to the bottom. He said, well, so you want my guy to get your trash that's nasty and stuck? And she just got quiet. And she said, oh, I didn't realize that. I said, yeah. I mean, we get people that just don't think. We in our big ice storm that we had a couple of years ago, everything shut down. Mm-hmm. We didn't run our trucks.
Of course not. It's not safe.
We had a customer call right in the middle. I mean, the roads were ice. Y'all didn't come today to get the trash. And, well, no, the roads are icy. Well, what am I supposed to do with my trash? Well, if you want to get out, you can come to the station, and we won't charge you anything. I'm not getting out in this ice. I mean, just
garbage trucks are magic. They're supposed to do things that other vehicles can't do.
Get out of the way. I don't want my guys out here in this ice either. Oh my word! I love how he handled her. God rest his soul. And but just as logic as you can. Well, ma'am, and that's that's your trash, and that was genius. Yeah, he didn't get upset. He just laid it out there as a fact. And what and you can always tell when you probably notice this even as parents, when you catch them, either they're quiet or they look away just a little bit. They're just like, You're like, got it. All right, it's hooking. Set the hook, move on.
So listening to you talk, you've done a lot of things. Like many of us entrepreneurial folks, you've put on a lot of different shoes in your grown life. And it's always fun to watch that journey, to see those transformations. And I'm sure it's fascinating for you to look back on yourself and all the things you've done. When you were in school, say about 15, 16 years old.
Lord.
Yeah. When you were just, really hitting that boy youth, feeling it good. Mm-hmm. What did you want to be? What did you want to do with your life at that point? Can you remember?
I remember wanting to be an X-ray technician.
Okay.
I can remember that. To be, I don't know. I can remember wanting to be an X-ray technician. I can't really remember why. I'm sure it had something to do with the opposite sex, but
nobody blame you for that.
Yeah, I mean,
because it seems like just about everything in that time in our life had to do with the opposite sex.
Yeah. I mean, you still get the comic books, Superman in the back of it. You could get the X-ray glasses.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just boys. But yeah, I remember wanting to be an X-ray technician.
There's fun things to look at if you can X-ray,
So maybe that's it. It was the X-ray glasses. That's what it was.
That's good stuff. So
didn't expect that answer.
No, I love it. I think that's awesome. Yes. What were your grades like in school?
I was AB on row. I don't remember my ranking, but
that's all right. AB on roll, fine.
AB on row. My math was my subject. I love math, reading and English and spelling. Spelling I still don't get. And you asked me about a book earlier when we first started talking. I've read the Bible, and I've read Secret Places. It's a inspirational little thin book. And I don't know if you remember the story called The Accident. It was in our library. It was Accident.
Okay.
It's only 3 books I've ever read in my life.
Oh.
I hate to read. My mama said it was because I walked before I crawled. I don't know. It makes sense to me because I don't like to read, but I read when I have to. I retain good, so what I read, I kind of keep. But I mean, I'm not an educated man. I went through 12th grade and did a little bit of courses in college here and there just to get updated a little bit, I guess. But I don't know.
Well, Mr. Broussard, I'm going to argue with you.
Okay.
I'm going to oppose on what you just said. You made a statement about yourself that I am completely in disagreement with.
Okay.
You said you are not an educated man. And I would say that you are self-educated and highly educated because the school of life is where you studied.
Right.
And you seem to be a man of perpetual curiosity. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the business you're in, and you wouldn't have adventured through the things you've done.
Right.
So I hope that you'll accept this challenge never to say that about yourself again.
Right.
Because you are educated.
Right. I'll appreciate that.
So much to the point that I would say beyond college. I would say beyond formal education, in value, especially.
Right. Well, we speaking of that, college, we give a little grant scholarship on our website to all the service schools in our service areas, and we call it a new life venture, a new adventure life grant. I can't remember what we named it. But
should have named it the Trashy Scholarship.
The Trashy Scholarship, but it's not really a scholarship. It's for the kids that don't go to college.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Like vocational grant.
Yeah, it's just a $500 gift to a student. To when you move out, you got your electric bill deposit, you got your car note, you got your water you got to turn on. There's so many things that need to happen, and then you get kids that plan to go to college, and there's so many avenues of getting money for those kids. But the ones that are going out and going to make the world still turn while everybody's getting their education, nobody's thinking about them. At least it don't seem like it. So we do that to our kids, because if you're not college material, don't waste your time with college. And I don't discourage
I
college,
agree with you entirely.
But I mean, you can go waste your time and money and knowing that you don't want to be there when you can go out. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that never darken the door of a college, and they've got big homes and boats and cars because they're out making a good living, because they're not scared to work and they're not scared to provide for the family. So they're got good jobs. So that's one thing I love about America is if you don't like what you're doing, do something else.
That's it.
That's it. You're living proof of that for sure. So. And sometimes even just the whole big giant plan forces us to do that. Like I said, you got laid off. Okay, well, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to do nothing. And so, but then obviously that's when that little curiosity inside the seed, maybe that your dad planted, had a little, also that had it had a way to pierce the earth, man, and come to life. And there you go. Yeah. No, I agree. And I did go the college route because that gave me the permission to do what I wanted to do. That was the only way to get, in part at the time, to do what I wanted. And that's what I tell folks when they come in. We talk about things like college. I say, well, first it depends on what you want. What do you want? Because if you're just going to go because you're a fan of that particular university or that particular mascot, well, that's not enough. But if you truly like the daughter that wanted to be a chiropractor, well, there's one way to get there. So she could do it legally and ethically and all those sorts of things. Otherwise she could have done something else. Because it wasn't an intelligence thing. It was a what do you want? And that's really what it comes down to, it seems.
Yeah, because I did my SATs and I sent, when I did it, you could send 3 of your stats out to 3 different colleges and LSU, not LSU, California. The big one in California. UCLA. Yeah. I sent to UCLA.
Oh, wow.
Man, I'm going to California. And I think, what in the world was I thinking?
Best blessing you ever got. Best blessing you ever got was not getting in there.
Anyway.
That would have been, talk about country come to town, man. That would have been fun.
Yeah. They wouldn't know what.
No, right? Well, take LA by storm.
Yeah,
that's right.
They asked me where Thibodeau and Boudreaux was.
Right.
So coming into town.
You ain't gonna see no boudin over there. No. Never eat a crawfish over there. So are you successful?
Yes.
I love that.
I
You
do
see
too.
how fast he answered?
Yep.
We ask this of every guest,
Mhm.
and it's always fascinating to me watching that answer come out.
Mhm.
Oftentimes you'll see them ponder it a minute and they'll think, they're overthinking is what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I love the confidence that you had right there in just answering yes.
That's it.
What is the difference in your mind from a successful person to a person who is not successful?
Well, for one thing, it's got nothing to do with money. My success is in my family, uh, um, the health and relationships, our healthy relationships with our family. Not that we don't have our struggles, not that we don't have our hard times as far as relationships go, but um, I'm by no means rich, and I know that a lot of people, and I've had friends, approach me and say, "Oh, you're making all the money." Yeah. Well, I've got holes in my pockets. There's money coming in, but there's a lot going out. But it's not about money. It's about I go home every day and I get to be with the woman I love. Um, she seems to want to be with me, so I'm happy as a lark. Uh, but success is being able to fulfill what God has put in you that you're supposed to do, and that is to provide, to work.
Yes.
My daddy retired, but he kept working as a mechanic in his shop. He had something to do every day of his retirement. He was 82 years old. He was out in the shop working, and he got dizzy, fell, hit his head on the concrete, and he never recovered. But he was doing what he loved. He didn't have to work. He was a vet. He had some disability coming from the Navy, and he had his retirement that he had, but it was in him to work. I was in an accident in just after Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I was on the couch for a little while, and the sun was shining, and it was daylight, like every day almost is, and I can see the mental strain that people have sometime in their lives, and I come face to face with it because I'm a guy, and if you saw my wife, you could ask her, if it's daylight and I could be outside, my desire is to be doing something.
Yeah.
Doing something. If it's mowing the grass, get down mowing the grass, look, completion,
Right.
fulfilled. So I can understand people struggle and people have hard times, and being successful is a part of dealing with life in full. To be a successful neighbor, to see a need that your neighbor has, to be a successful community in the community, drive through, and if you have an extra $10 in your pocket, give it to the little girl that's there working, maybe getting 15 hours a week at minimum wage, and dealing with every aggravated person coming through the drive-through. Give her that extra $10.
Yeah.
And say God loves you, and I do too.
That's awesome.
Just that's being successful.
Yeah.
I've had a few toys. And I don't know if I should share this or not, but I decided late in life and I always wanted to be a pilot. I always wanted to get my pilot's license. Well, I decided to go ahead and do that school and get my pilot's license. I got my pilot's license, and I started looking around, and I found a plane that I could buy, and the plane was about $10,000 less than the used truck that I bought to go to work in. So I bought it. It was inexpensive, $40,000, a lot of money.
Not for a plane,
but not for a plane. So I bought it. Well, needless to say, I crashed it, but I hadn't got another one. But just doing little things in life and things that I've done recently, I could never do whenever I had children in the house, because when a family is out there and you see a family out there working, both the man and the woman working, and they're making ends meet, and then they've got the pressure of their kids that are being pressured by their friends. Oh, I got to play baseball. Oh, while I'm playing baseball, I got to do taekwondo. Oh, while I do taekwondo or whatever it is, kung fu, karate, I got to do ballet, and it's all year long now. And the parents are so overwhelmed with pressure that I can see the depression and the anxiety and the hurt that can come into families and people.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I got off.
No, you did. You did just fine.
Maybe there's not a lot of things where probably there is, but they probably don't have that formula to measure completion. Like you said, take things to completion. Which even if it's just on the daily, it's amazing what that does. And so maybe those parents haven't quite discovered. That's just keeping up with the next thing, and they're going to burn out. Unfortunately, and so
to be a successful person is to be, according to James, is to be godly, inspired, and to be a loving neighbor. Okay. So that's what I try to do.
If I'm understanding you right, what you're saying is that your success lies in your ability to output rather than your ability to take in.
Yes, I believe that's how I think that's how God designed it. And I think that's how it works, and that's the way I live my life. So I count my success on how I'm able to provide for people around me.
Okay. You mentioned earlier when you were talking about success, and you kind of said, me and my family, we're a real family. We struggle, things struggles. So how has failure been an asset for you in your life? We all have it. So
I don't know, failure has drawn me closer to my Lord.
Okay.
In every case. I guess in business failure, I've had a couple of businesses. My dad and I started a business after I got out of school. He was pushing me to start business, started it together, and it didn't succeed. Okay. I didn't understand business aspects. I didn't understand customer relations. I didn't understand that people have bad days, and it's going to come and hit you in the face when you're having a bad day.
Right.
I didn't understand all that. So I'm going to make a reference to someone I've always thought to be a successful person. Not that I think, not promoting television or anything, but I've always looked at Walt Disney's life. He filed bankruptcy 7 or 9 times, I can't remember, but he kept plugging away at it. That's life. We are not the perfect human beings. None of us are.
Right.
So we have to keep moving forward.
Yes. Good. Thank you.
I started this business with nothing. I had a job, and the money I was making, I was trying to get all my bills paid off, get our house paid off. I was looking to set ourselves up. So I was spending all the money. We had 6 years of contracts ahead of us with Marathon Oil. And overseas oil field was shut down pretty much by some upper control that none of us could control. So I found myself, I had my next check. I had $10,000 in the bank, and that's all. I didn't have no savings account, didn't have nothing. I had $10,000 paycheck and had a paid off truck, had a paid off house, and said, well, we don't have nothing now. We might as well try it. If we don't make it, we still have nothing. So,
yeah.
And that's why I still continue. I mean, we have quite a few customers. We run several trucks. We're fixing to open an office, a truck location in Silsbee. So we'll be running trucks out of Silsbee. We already run all the way down to Cooks Lake Road. So we're down in the Lumberton and Silsbee area. But tomorrow, if something happens and don't have it, oh well. I mean, I'll get up the next day and we'll do something.
Well, you had a lot more than nothing. I'm going to argue with you one more time. You had the wealth of commitment and all the experiences that had brought you thus far, plus the confidence of your spiritual faith.
Yeah.
You had all of that, and that's enormous.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot bigger than nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have to say that it's impressive. So I hope that the people in our audience can see through that story to what you truly had when you began. while your hands might have appeared to have been empty.
Yeah.
You were full inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were able to invest into your endeavor from within, just like you talked about earlier. So you shortchange yourself quite a bit there. And I appreciate your humility. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
To God be the glory.
Yeah.
And if I can, I'll share a story to that effect in the business. We just got our truck, our 92 GMC, and it was no air conditioning, roll up windows. It was just a beat up old garbage truck. And it seemed like it rained every day for the first year that we had that truck. First year in business. It seemed like it rained every day. But anyway, I got up one morning and I started the route, and a kidney stone hit me.
Oh.
And if you ever had kidney stone, you know what I'm talking about. And it hit me, and I climbed in out of that truck. The first, 100 customers climbing in and out. Didn't have no help. Nell was working in the office, and it was raining, and I was wet and just hurting with kidney stone. And finally, I just stopped, and I broke, and I cried out to my God, and I said, God, I cannot go on without your help. I cannot do this. If you don't help me, I got to go home. And the kidneys, it just stopped. Pain went away. And I praised God for a minute, and I went on about the route. I had like 30, 40 customers left. I can remember because I remember looking at the sheet. And I went on the rest of the day for a couple of more hours. No more hurting. It's still raining, but no more hurting. And when I got home, sat down in my chair, thank God, and the pain came back. And within an hour or so, I passed the stone.
Wow.
So and I don't remember the question why I brought that up, but it's to God be the glory. And I know you challenged me not to say that I'm not an educated man. I'm not. I never thought I would be able to coordinate, 3 or 4 trucks and customers and routes. And I never thought about it, but
look at you go.
I wouldn't have made it without his guide and his leadership.
Yeah.
So, my daddy used to say, boy, you fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Well, God, I'm doing whatever you want me to do because I don't know what I'm doing. You direct.
That's it. I'm faking it. I hope you make it.
Yes, sir.
I trust that you're going to make it. No.
Well, typically what we find is that when you have an appointed purpose for your life, the pursuit becomes natural.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening for you. You are pursuing your purpose in your season.
Yeah.
So while there may be difficulties, there's a way.
Yeah.
What's the Bible say about the steps of a righteous man? They're ordered by God, right? So all you got to do is have faith and keep picking up one foot and putting it down, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So what education do you depend on at that point?
Yeah, depend on my God.
Your father's education.
That's right.
So it's in you.
Right. And the word education is from educo, which is to draw out. So if you find the purpose, and this is kind of for the audience also, if you start finding things that there's purpose for me in this, then that spirit's going to come out. Because it's found its portal. And then from there is going to come all kind of learning and information. Like I said, all the learning up that you've had to do to run a business. Well, that didn't seem stressful because it was just kind of part of the flow. Now, somebody else may come in and go, how'd you figure all that out? Well, because that's not your purpose. You're over in your lane doing your thing. And I might add. So that's the way it's designed. We all kind of work in concert with each other. As I like to say, I don't grow my own hamburgers. And I'm glad that guy does, and I'm glad guys like you do what you do. And it's not that we couldn't, but why should I? Other people do it well.
It's not your purpose.
It's not my purpose.
That's right. And so, to me, society, our country, or the world on our children is beating our kids. Be like the Army. I think it's the Army. Be all that you can be.
Yeah.
Be in the Army. Be all that you can be. Well, be what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Don't, my gosh, Johnny, you can be the president of the United States. No, you can't read and you can't do this and you can't do that, but you can be the president of the United States. So we're setting our kids' goals so high, and for so many of them for failure. Let's get it on a playing field where we're encouraging and build them up as they decide and develop their own desires, not us pounding in them. You need to be a scientist. You need to be a doctor. You're not going to be successful. You need to go to 4 years of college and then go to graduate school, or you're just not going to make any money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our society.
Right.
I mean, I wanted all my girls, I did. I wanted all my girls to have college education if they so choose to go, and to be able to support themselves if their husbands could. And 4 out of the 5 are working in the workforce. One of them is blessed and don't have to, but the rest of them, they need to help, and that's okay. And that's life. But don't make it your driven purpose to have the best job you can, because you're going to set yourself up for failure.
Right.
I don't care what you're doing. The fisherman out there that's fishing for a living and getting paid to be pro fisherman, man, I love to fish. But if I had to do it every day and
to become work,
it's work, and you get to where you don't like work. I don't care what job you're doing.
Yeah,
you're going to get tired of work.
Right.
And but we just have to keep going. And if society had been beating on me like I see it beating on our kids, if you don't like it, just change. Well, sometimes you can't.
Right.
You have to just be willing to. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm going to do.
At least for this season.
It's my thought anyway.
Yeah. And if this season runs out, okay, then we'll go on something else. Yeah.
So I'd like to ask you a question about education. But it's going to be a little different.
Okay.
So you have professed multiple times that you're not an educated man. I've argued with you, and I've proven my point. You haven't proven yours. You keep proving me right. And I appreciate that. But you said you don't like to read, and I can appreciate that. I'm a little jealous of you because you made a statement that you retain what you read. I do not. I love to gather information. I love to learn, but unfortunately, the written word, I have difficulty retaining it. Relatively certain I have some dyslexia or some other difference about me. But since you don't like to read, what do you do to grow your education? Because you seem to be a man who is focused on growing himself. What do you do to grow yourself? Don't say nothing, because I'll argue with you again.
Okay. You just said that there must be something about you off or something.
Well, something different.
Different.
That's what they said.
You're normal.
I'm my normal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
You're normal. And if I see that, I'm growing. If I see need, comfort, peace, joy, anger, happiness, frustration, the more I see in my people around me, the more, if you're going to call it education, the more educated I can to deal with the things that are around me, because I depend on my God to show me his will. And then I focus on what he intends us to do is, I love you. I love you. If you're in need, if I can, I'm going to help. You may have just walked by and keyed my car and I saw you, but then I see the frustration and the pain that you're having in your life. And if I can't forgive you, then what good am I? How do I advance myself in this society? How do I become a better person? So, or a happier person within me?
Yeah.
Because I could retaliate and, I go over there and punch you in the nose and call the cops or whatever, retaliate. But how's that going to make me feel better?
Then we're just learning consequences.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know if that answered your question.
So you learn socially.
I guess so.
You're growing yourself through social learning. That's good. No, that's a very good answer. There was no wrong or right answer.
No, okay.
No.
I was just curious. It's actually the first time I've ever asked that question of anyone who sat in that chair.
Yeah.
And I felt inspired to ask it because I believe wholeheartedly that all successful people, whether they own a business, whether they work for someone else, no matter what they're doing, if they fit in the category of a successful person, they are constantly growing. Because you got two directions, right? You're either growing or you die.
Right.
Yes.
That's absolutely right.
And that can be physical or mental or spiritual or all three at once. But you strike me as a man who is growing all the way around. So I wanted to ask you and see what answer lied in there, and it came out, and I like it. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So at Local Sanitation, are you guys hiring?
Well, we're always willing to talk to somebody, but because we've been blessed, we've been growing since the day we opened. We've been growing at a rate that we can handle. So no and yes. I mean, that's I guess
there's an opportunity there, but not a necessity.
Yes.
That's good.
We do have things that we hope to be doing in the future where we are hiring more people. We employ right now, I think we employ 41 people, counting myself.
That's good.
So yeah, we employ, we've got quite a few families within our family. So
I only ask that because our audience, we're getting close to 600,000 people participating in our program, and especially here locally, we love to help people if they're in need and desire to better themselves and become employed at a place. We always like to give employers an opportunity to throw it out there.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the reason for that question.
Yeah. We've got a good good group of guys. And yeah, I still say guys for guys and gals.
Yeah,
we've got a good bunch of people, group of people right now, and we're. I mean, it seems like every year we add to the family. So yes, we are looking, but not right at the moment. I don't know.
As an employer, and this is important for our audience out there. As an employer, when you interview someone, and I don't know if you're like me, but I'm always interviewing people. I mean, look what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But I'm always interviewing people to see if they'd fit in one of our client employers or what have you. And I bet that you do the same thing. When you talk to someone, you probably in your mind are wondering, would you be a good fit in my family, my employee family? Yeah. So when you're looking at someone with that being a prospect, what's the most important characteristic of an employee?
I think honesty is the first. I mean, I could sit here and fib to you and say because I'm a pastor.
So honesty is most important, but he could lie.
I could fib. I mean, it'd be easy to fib, so I'm not going to. But honesty.
That was a good one. I like that.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's gonna come out in a sermon. I could be honest with y'all, but I couldn't fib.
I could fib. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest.
That was fun.
Being a pastor, you know, I look at, I could say, I want my congregation working for me. I want committed Christians working for me. I want people that believe exactly how I believe. And boy, I'll tell you what, and something I've said in church before from the pulpit is that, you know, this world would be a wonderful, it would be heaven on earth if everybody was me. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't it? If everybody was me and thought like me and wanted to do the things I wanted to do and wanted to just accomplish what I want, and it would be a great place. But we are different, and
I don't know, man. I argue with myself too much.
Do you lose?
I've never lost one yet, but
I put up a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a funny point.
I know. But don't we all get in that mood sometimes where I don't even like the attitude I'm in? I'm thinking, God, I wouldn't even like my own company. And so when you go spend time alone, like you just go get in the truck, go drive around or whatever, your wife's like, you okay? I just need to sort a few things out. You don't need to see how this is made.
Yeah.
No, this is good.
Yeah.
But that's good though. That's right. Yeah. Would it be heaven on earth? I don't know. Now that we're going on with the discussion, maybe not.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
So to say what I look for in people is first honesty. I mean, you know, there's folks out there struggling. There's guys out there that can't get a job because they got in trouble when they're younger, and you know they're trying to get their life back together. And you know, if you're honest and you're trying, we want to help. I mean, you know, because I was a ringtail tutor when I was young, and just so happened I'd done some things that I didn't get in trouble for. You know, we've all done things that we could have gotten in trouble for.
Oh, yeah.
Just didn't get caught.
That's right.
So, you know, I try real hard not to judge.
Yeah.
And it's hard for all of us. We all struggle with that, I think. But yeah, I want an employee, people that, you know, if they say something, I can account that's even if it's not what I want to hear, you know, as long as if I can see a little honesty there, that's basically what we're sure.
That's good.
That is.
That's real good. Well, I have to say you've been an amazing guest, and you've had some enormous contributions to our audience. I believe they're going to be very inspired by your story. Is there anything about you, your journey, your story that we haven't asked about that's important that you'd like to leave?
I don't know.
Sound like we've done a good job.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't guess. I don't know.
That's okay. If not, then that's okay. And for those of you in the audience listening or watching this is his first time to be victimized on a podcast. Have you ever been interviewed in any way before?
No.
First time interview ever. So you've done phenomenal. You actually you come off very natural. You answer the questions well. You don't hesitate. Not a whole lot of uhs or
honest.
That's right. He could lie to us.
He could lie to
but he's honest.
He could.
But I'm not.
But he chose to
I'm
be.
gonna try not to.
That's right.
So as we draw to a close, there are several questions that we ask traditionally of each guest. One of those is, if you could give advice to someone who admires you, a younger person out there, or maybe not, maybe someone who is just, I hate this word, but I'm going to use it because everybody will understand it, but someone who might have just retired or maybe just lost their job for similar reasons as you, but your story inspired them. What advice might you give them?
If you have something in front of you, approach it without expectations, I guess, with the willingness to take on what you're asking for. Be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest. It's the most important thing that I've done in my life was be honest with my God. You know, I can be alone, but because of my faith, and not everybody believes this, and I understand that, I'm never alone. God said in his word, where two or more are gathered, I'll be there with you. Well, by gosh, now that I've accepted my Lord, there's always two or more. So anytime.
I've met some people with 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, just approach it with, if you can find your peace with God, find that. Always keep avenues of faith open. And I'm not trying to beat anybody over the head, but avenues of faith, what you can believe in to be real, because I know for a fact that my God is real to me. And I know he's real for you too, if you want him, but approach life with open arms and without judgment of what you're going into, and just strive to do your best. Strive to give your best. That's how we're rewarded with the Lord or in society. If you do your best, you'll eventually be rewarded.
Very good.
That's what I think.
Sure. Sure.
And again, I'm not an educated man, so take it how you want it.
Right. So in that same vein of conversation, so now we're looking at the end of your days, okay, and you're going to leave a legacy. You got this host of kids. You got a lot of folks that now work for you. You got a lot of folks you've influenced, a church and others. What kind of legacy would you want to leave? What would you want them to say to remember you?
You know, I've been feeling sick.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Well, and I say that because I was in an accident after Thanksgiving, and I realized that it could go like that.
Oh yeah.
It's you don't know when your appointed time is. So that's the only reason I missed the joke about that. I shouldn't joke, but to answer your question, you'd have to ask it again.
Okay. Well, in remembering you, so these are all the folks that you've influenced. You got your family, you got your church, you got your folks that work for you, friends through all the years. In speaking of your legacy, what would you want to leave? What would you want them to say?
I want people to be able to say, "He loved me." Yeah, that's what I want people to be able to say. I want my family to be able to say that. And I want the people that are around me, that's known me all their life, to be able to say that.
Thank you. Perfect.
You know what I'm going to say about you?
What's that?
Not only that you loved everybody, but that you were a man with humility.
Mm.
And that is enormous.
Yes, it is.
That is one of the greatest attributes of any successful human being, is to possess the practice of humility. Right. And you do it. You exemplify it. So well done. That's
thank you.
I mean that as a compliment. I hope.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, someone once said some 3 components of success is humbleness, hunger, and then the hardest working person in the room. Way to go, man! I think you got it. I think you got it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And our last tradition of the show is to ask this question. It's my favorite one. It may trade off though with that other one I asked you earlier. We'll see about that. About what do you do to grow? Mm-hmm. I like that one, mm-hmm. and you did well on that. But this final question: if you could go back in time to your younger self, let's go a little past the 15. Let's go to 17 or 18 years old. Either
worse. Anyway.
But you just before or just after you graduate in high school, mm-hmm. okay? And you could whisper some wisdom into your own ear, some words of advice. What would you tell yourself, as if your own conscience was speaking to you? What would you say to your younger self?
A Bitcoin.
That's the second one. That's the second one that said by Bitcoin.
Right.
I don't know. I guess it would be find God sooner. That would be truly. Don't get tied up in the advancement of what the world thinks about you. Don't get tied up in the race of I got to get better than they got, or I got to get what they have.
Right.
What was it used to call keep up with the Joneses?
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in that.
And it's so easy
I got caught up in that when I was younger. Got into financial struggles because of it. You know, want to buy my wife a new car and really can't afford it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. My grandpa, my great grandpa, my mama's grandpa, he would drive around with his old car and he'd roll up the windows in the middle of summer at 102 degrees with no air conditioning, just so people thought he had air conditioning. I said, Mom, you kidding? I didn't know. He'd be boiling with sweat and we'd about die in the car.
Oh, my word.
So, yeah, don't get caught up. That's what I would tell myself. Don't get caught up in that in that mess. Just find God sooner.
Well, it has been an honor and a privilege to have you on with us. I believe you're going to be a blessing to our audience. And if I could give you any words of encouragement, it would be to keep going. That you are, you're the way you describe the way you live your life. You're a blessing to everybody you come across, and we really appreciate you sharing your life with us on our show.
Well, thank you for having me. I was a little nervous about it. But, yeah.
Are you nervous now?
Yeah. Well, no, not nervous, but I don't know if I'll be back.
Oh,
No, I was nervous, and like I said, I'm not a technical guy, and don't do social media, don't do stuff like that. So I was nervous.
You're going to do a little bit of social media now.
Yeah, I think so. No, you did wonderful. Yeah, you actually, hopefully we set it up so you can do what you do best. You're a good conversationalist. Right. You get the story out there well. So you did good.
Are there any words of wisdom or advice you might have for the audience in parting?
I thought that's what the last question, the question for last.
You don't have to. There's no pressure. You got 30 minutes. That's all. I'm kidding. And he's a preacher. He can do it.
That's right.
What is it they always say? They got 30 minutes and they're going to go for another hour. And to close. In closing.
That's right. I'm about to close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can say your answer could be similar to the one you gave before. Which is find God sooner or whatever. Whatever you think will be a nice parting. Hey, I got one more message I want to send y'all before we wrap up this service, if you will.
Well, I wouldn't mind sharing a little story that happened to me on July 4th, 3 years ago now, or almost 3 years. July 4th will be 3 years ago. We got the contract around the lake. For the Corps engineers around Rayburn and Danby to do the dumpsters at the Corps properties.
Okay.
And so I scrambled and ordered dumpsters and got dumpsters coming, and they were big dumpsters. They were 8 yards. First time we ever dealt with 8-yard dumpsters. And we could get 2 on a lowboy trailer. And I was delivering with one trailer, and Ed was delivering with another trailer. Anyway, we had decided we'd put these dumpsters on the trailer and only use one man to deliver them. And I took a piece of pipe, heavy wall, 1.25 inch pipe, 6 foot long, and we cut it up into 4 sections, 4 6-foot pieces. He had 2, I had 2. Anyway, we put them on the trailer and put the dumpsters, and then one man could just roll it on the pipe and it hit the ground and you could drive out from underneath it. Mm-hmm. One man could handle it without hurting his back, do stuff like that. So we were doing that. And the trailer I had just so happened had a dovetail on it. And if you don't know what a dovetail is, it just goes back and it turns down and don't roll over the ground, but it tilts to the ground. So it's like a ramp. Well, I delivered dumpsters, and it was the Friday afternoon, July 4th weekend, and man, the traffic was starting to get heavy around the places. And I was up out of San Augustine Park, north of the lake, and that's almost an hour drive from the station where we was delivering from. And I pulled in there and I unloaded the first dumpster, and then had to drive around to the back of the park to unload the next dumpster. And I unstrapped it, and it was my last one. So I broke routine. Normally I'd push them off, and pull the truck up. Then I'd get out and put the stickers on the side and get it, flip the lids closed and go on. Well, this time, changing your routine, I decided, I shoved the dumpster off, and it hit the ground and it rolled on the pipe, and on the back of the trailer, on the end of that dovetail, the boards went underneath a piece of angle iron, which held the boards in place. And that pipe was right against that angle iron, and the dumpster was still on it. I kicked that pipe and it wouldn't come out, so it was laying sideways on the end of the trailer. Yeah. The dumpster had it blocked, and I said, well, shoot, I'm going to go ahead and put my stickers on and pick my straps up, and then when I pull out, I'll get out and get that pipe. Broke my routine. So I went ahead and put my sticker on. I had to make sure I got it straight. The dumpster was like this, I put it on. I picked up my straps, threw it in the back of the truck, got in the truck, and put it in gear, and I already got stickers on. Well, I need to stop. So here I come. I pulled out on the highway, and I come back the road from San Augustine Park. It's 2-lane road, and there was camper after camper after camper, truck after truck, And I was driving along, and all of a sudden, this 1-ton with looked like a 60-foot travel trailer behind it, big rascal, he swerved over into my lane, and I hit the brake, and then he pulled it back. And when he went by, I looked in my mirror at him, and I saw the back of that trailer. I thought, oh, God, don't let that pipe come off and hit nobody. I hope it didn't hit nobody. coming down the road. And I prayed about it all the way home, another 45 minutes to the station. And I pulled up the station. It was on my heart the whole way. I pulled up to that station, and that pipe had come off of that angle iron this way. The trailer's, like this. It come off, and that pipe was in the front of the trailer laying this way.
Wow.
In the center of the trailer.
Wow.
That's a miracle.
And
That
I
is.
just teared and
Man.
God could have just let it just come off and run off to the side of the road. But he showed me that I'm in control. No matter what, I'm in control. So
that's pretty fascinating.
Just don't, if you're out there and it seems like you're at the end of your rope, or you're just not knowing which way to turn in a job decision or a family decision, or, man, I really don't like my spouse, or my kids are driving me nuts. Give it to somebody who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just, that would be my answer to your last question.
That's good.
Give it.
That's all.
Well, thank you for sharing that story. That was great. I'm glad you did it.
I am too.
Well, it's been a great show.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Pursuit of Purpose podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we have had with us
James Broussard.
With Local Sanitation. If you're in the Southeast Texas area, where would they find your service? How do they get your business? How do they start using you?
Localsanitation.com.
Is there a phone number, or is that
409-224-1780? We've been in Woodville. We're in Woodville. Been living in Tyler County all my life. Love our little old county. Love our communities. If you need us, just call. We'll help if we can. Do what we can.
Very good.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for joining us, and we would love to hear from you. We'd love your feedback about this episode and any other of our episodes. Please make sure to follow, like, and share, and comment. Let us know what you think. Thank you guys, and thank you for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. Have a great day.